Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are back. We are back.
Back.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. What's going on, my brother? How you doing?
Feels so good to be back, man. It's finally calmed down. It's been like I feel like I haven't seen you in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, right. It's a lot. It's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on. Well, we got a special guest joining us tonight.
We do.
As people always hear, we talk about our guy CK from Upstate, high school basketball, expert and all things of that nature. Tonight we're gonna be talking about a lot of things, man. A lot of things, man. So sit back and you know enjoy the show, cause y'all definitely want to be paying attention tonight.
Facts.
It's a lot of movement going on, and the transfer portal, baby. The transfer portal has got things crazy. So sit back and enjoy the show. Yo, for the first time, I forgot to introduce ourselves, man. So caught up, man. Caught up. Welcome to High School Basketball Weekly. I am your host, Glenn Poole Harding, with my guy,
Brian.
Listen, it's going down tonight. This is going to be a really good show tonight, man. It's a lot going on. We got a guest joining us tonight. We're gonna bring him on in a few minutes. Our guy, Christopher K. Hudson, better known to everybody as CK. He always joins us, or CKH, right? He always joins us on our show in the chat, giving us real good information about what's going on upstate so we can connect everybody, right? So you got me from the city, Brian from Long Island, CK from upstate. I think we kind of cover the whole New York, man. So we want to definitely bring him on tonight. Kind of help us understand the whole insight on New York's basketball as a whole, especially when it comes to what's going on upstate. Yo, coach, what the hell is going on? So many moving pieces, so much going on in the city, man. Yo, give us a rundown real quick before we bring CK on some of the things, not everything yet. Don't let everything out the bag, but some of the things that's going on right now in New York City and Long Island. If you have, just a minute, not everything. We want to spread it out through the course of the show. Don't want to give them everything yet.
Yeah, it's a real interesting thing because that COVID year and the transfer portal still alive and kicking poo, and you could just see it with this 2024 class. A lot of kids moving back to 2025. Kids like Jordan Gabriel, kids just trying to extend their clock, trying to keep things moving. And I'm hearing so many different rumors, a lot of things going on, and I'm hearing a lot of stuff. Some overtime elite, some prep schools, just a lot of things swirling through NYC now. Pooh. A lot of things in the works.
Yeah, man. A lot of things, a lot of moving pieces, a lot of people leaving New York City, gonna be making moves inside New York City.
Yeah.
I'm hearing about some kids from Long Island that may be coming to New York City. Man, it's a lot going on, man. But tonight we also want to touch on the transfer portal because that's been a real big issue that a lot of kids are having, and I'm seeing a lot of kids who are not committed who can help some colleges, but it doesn't make a difference because remember, it's always the situation where the colleges gotta want you.
Yeah.
They gotta want you. And I've even heard some guys talk about bringing back the JV in college, right? To give guys a chance to even have those development years before they even break into college. And I think, man, whatever you could do to give a kid a free education, you should be able to do it, because even though they having that prep year, it still doesn't guarantee them a scholarship, even though they going to prep school. So
yeah, I mean, listen, guy who Pooh and I really like, who's a big name in the city, Nasir Rodriguez. I mean, one of Pooh's favorites. He's one of those guys that did make the move to prep. Instantly got signed by Columbia recently. So definitely a huge shout out to that young man who, the future is going to be so bright. But like you said, just because you're going to 2025 does not mean that it's guaranteed. So, you still may have to go to junior college. You still may have to go to that Division III, Division II, or your clock just may end. It doesn't mean just because you're going to, 2025 doesn't mean it's going to guarantee anything, Pooh, especially in this day and age.
And I'm so happy for Nazir. I think that's a great move. I said that's the greatest move he could have made in going to Columbia, because not only he gets to stay in the city, but he gets to go and play at an Ivy League school and put him in a great situation. And then after he graduates, he's going to be in a better situation.
Yeah, and he's going to a good prep school. He'll be ready to rock. And
hold on, pause. So he's going to prep school first, then going to Columbia?
Correct. Talk about a huge get for Columbia, huh?
Whoa. You think he'll be available to Columbia after that?
Well, listen, you never know with that prep year where your game could go, but now he doesn't have to worry about it, right, Pooh, unless it becomes an issue. So he's in great shape, going to great school. And, one of my dreams is to fill an entire Ivy League team with New York City and New York kids, and to do the same thing in at an HBCU too. That's like my two dreams, to get those two squads together. But because New York City's capable of it, Long Island too, Upstate. And it's just great to see another kid go to the Ivy, because it's an awesome education.
Mm-hmm. Yo, Kojak, man, you right, man. A lot of kids get caught up in chasing the bag and get left with nothing. So I definitely understand what you're saying. So we're gonna bring on our guest right now, because look, he have a lot of insight what's going on, and we just want to get right to it. So CK, man, welcome to the show, my brother. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. How you doing?
Finally.
Yes.
Yes, man. So you heard what Brian and I have been talking about, right? Are you guys experiencing the same things upstate with the transfer portal affected a lot of guys' recruitment, and them have to either go to prep school or maybe not even get a scholarship, and probably got to wait around till something comes through?
From what I see, a lot of our top guys, what they're doing, and they've been doing this, I think a little before the transfer portal, was just going to prep school, like after their sophomore, junior years. For instance, Brian might know Ryan Mesh from Chittenango. He was the state's leading scorer at almost 40 points a game. Now he's going to Cushing after his junior year this year. So you see a lot of guys doing that. And even going way back to guys like that win the NBA, like Stewart from Rochester. He went to McQuaid Jesuit, then he went to La Lumiere, went to Washington for a year, then got drafted by Detroit. So you see that's been going on for a while now up here, as far as prep school being like the thing to do almost after your sophomore, junior year. Some might wait till their senior year, see how things play out, and then go prep too.
Yeah. And a thing I noticed, DK, especially with your guys specifically, I would say, is they almost kind of have like that breakout or that like monster statistic season kind of right before they make that prep move. Like, you know, I know like Darian Moore, who we had on the show, you know, becomes the all-time leading scorer
Yes.
and to another level, you know. So they almost do a great job of
Right.
raising their resume before really making the move.
Correct. Another guy that comes to mind is Gavin Doty from Fulton, small city about I'm in Syracuse, by the way, so about a good 25, 30 minutes north of here. And he's a guy has like 5 offers, D1 offers, mind you. Bryant, UB are a couple that come off the top of my mind. And he's going to New Hampton, I found out. So he built up a resume, like you said. He's a senior. He initially went to prep this year, came back because of some family situation, and then played out the year. And then now he's going to New Hampton, I found out, for a prep year. So yes, that's pretty much the MO up here. If a guy strikes hot, preps might get after him. Like another guy that comes to mind from the Syracuse area, who's now at Syracuse, is JJ Starling. He struck it hot as a sophomore. We already knew locally that he, as an 8th grader, he was playing varsity at Baldwinsville High School, which is a suburb of Syracuse, and he was playing very well. And then once buzz came out about him, he went to La Lumiere, and then Mike Bray at Notre Dame got in his ear. He started off at Notre Dame, then he came home after, ironically, Jim Boeheim retired. So you see a lot of prep school kids, once people find out about them up here, prep schools seem to get at them quick.
Well, here's one thing I don't understand, right? And you know, maybe somebody can make this make sense to me. Kids are flooding the AAU circuit as if colleges are recruiting them on a mass scale that they're playing at.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand you want to go and try, but right now, it's kind of like winning the lottery. You know, you put yourself in this big ball of players getting rolled around in the AAU circuit, hoping a college stick their hand in and grab you out. But a lot of them kids are reaching up, and no one is picking them up.
Right.
Like, think about it. These kids are pouring into 1,000 AAU teams.
Right.
I went out to Maine Hoops and Marquee Hoops one weekend. Went out with our kids because we have a 12U AU team that we're raising up. And I'm just looking around at all the players. It just like one big meat market of players.
Right.
And I'm saying to myself, 99% of these kids aren't going to get a basketball scholarship.
No.
99% of them.
Higher than
it
Right.
is 99.9. No, honestly. Look, what I've seen, and salute to Nate Blue and what he's doing with his uncommitment game that he has, the All-Star game that he gives.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the players that's on that list that still hasn't got a shot in hell to get a scholarship because it's so hard. A lot of these guys are the leading scorers on their team, 1,000-point scorers. Some may be all city, some in the top 10, that we put out last week. Still don't have a school. How crazy is that? And a lot of kids now are putting themselves in a position when they're senior, they got to go back out to AAU circuit again.
Right.
I know you was at Hoop Group, Brian. What did you see up there? And who were some of the standout players? I saw you, I put up a picture of you, Rob Phelps, and another kid that was in a picture. I can't forget his name. And let me say this. I apologize to Joshua Nacklin. That's the name I forgot last week when we did our top 10 who played for Bedford Academy. Another player who's in that senior list who scored a lot of points, who's still looking for a good look. But not Joshua Nacklin, I apologize.
Yeah, it's crazy because, I'm sure, CK seeing it too. Like, there is this little period that they're allowing a lot of these 2024s to
Hmm.
compete in AAU. So it's like, Pooh, you talk about the number that are in AAU. It's like, it's even more than you could imagine. It's because it's these full grown seniors who are ready to go to college that are just looking, like you said, lottery. And a lot of this stuff is like, talk to these college guys whenever I'm at these stuff. They're looking for like one player, and it has to be such a specific box, Pooh, that this kid fits in.
Mm.
Or, so they're really not even looking. But, the hoop group event was fantastic. There were so many good kids. Rob Phelps and Jaden Lau were fantastic. Amir Smith from Stepanak played fantastic. CK talked about Ryan. I talked about Jordan Gabriel, Nolan Raymond, Brandon Arnold looked really strong for Crown. Just a lot of good players. And like you said, a lot of guys just looking for opportunities. So it's kind of weird to see a lot of these 24s still playing in the AAU. It's hard to just, these guys are so old playing against some of these kids.
And he said,
Right.
these full grown guys playing AAU, like, again, it's just like, and a lot of them have been playing since they were like 12 years old.
I know.
So they've been playing AAU like 7, 8 years and still haven't got a look. And I'm saying to myself, is it worth it? Right? We put so much emphasis on going out of town and getting on these circuits to play, and they're not doing any real development here at home.
Yeah.
Right? I think a lot of these guys should just
Right.
get themselves in the gym, keep working on their weaknesses to make sure that they, that they can make them into their strengths, because it's hurting a lot of these guys. And I'm saying to myself, are you really wasting your time playing AAU ball?
Yeah. Well,
Seriously.
it depends where you're playing. And I think CK would agree with me. Depends on the program, because a lot of the things that I'm noticing with these programs, like you said, there's a billion of them, 100%. I mean, there was one when I was growing up on the entire island, but there's a million now. But it's all about the relationship that those programs have with the colleges. I think it is worth it if you are in the program and getting developed the right way by good people that do know college coaches, because I think a lot of it is starting to happen where programs reach programs and saying, "Who do you got for me?" Because they can't really see all these kids. You know what I mean? And I think that's starting to kind of happen a little more again, which is good to see. But you got to make sure you're with the right program.
Yeah, and you better hope that your program has an elite player, right? Your program has to probably have an elite player for colleges to reach out to say, you know what, these guys have credibility. Let me reach out to them to see if they have somebody on the lower end that we can kind of grab up.
Right.
Mm.
Right. Well, up here, the major program up here is City Rocks. And what's interesting about City Rocks, it's based in Albany, but it'll get, like, I looked at the new lineup, and I think, Brian, you might have posted it on your site. They have guys from, as far as Upstate, from Rochester, Doty from Fulton. I think Mesh is on there. I think a kid from Saratoga, another kid originally from Corning, another kid from Liverpool. So these kids, that's like the program up here. You also have one out in Buffalo, which I think, because they're so set apart from Albany, it's a good 4-hour drive or so. So they have what they call Corey Graham Elite. So there's been some players come out of that AAU program. And actually, a guy that comes to mind that I've mentioned before is Jaden Harrison. I just found out he got an offer to Arkansas State, which is surprising because, like we've been saying, a lot of kids go prep and then get their offer, but he got his out of high school. So he's going from Bishop Timon in Buffalo. That's the who played Chaminade in the Catholic Championship, the AA, I believe. He was the star player and the all-time leading scorer in Western New York, because they have what's called Monsignor Martin, which is the Catholic League out there. And then they have Section 6, which are the public schools. So he's actually the leading scorer all time in Western New York history. And you're talking about an area that produced Cliff Robinson, Christian Laettner, Bob Lanier. So
Yeah.
we're not talking about some sorry area of talent. And then you have the Niagara Falls team there with a bunch of players like Paul Harris, Johnny Flynn, and so on. So that's part of Section 6. So this kid is all-time leading scorer, and he actually got an offer, and it looks like he's going to take it from Arkansas State. And he came through Corey Graham Elite. Shout out to Des Randall and Ty Parker, who's the head coach at Health Science Charter out in Buffalo, who are coaches in that run that program. So yeah, it's amazing how AAU plays a big part in what team in AAU you're in. And just up here, those are the two programs, because there's a bunch. I don't know. I don't really follow AAU that in depth, but if you think of AAU and Upstate, you think City Rocks. And then if you're familiar, Corey Graham Elite, those are the two where there's been talent that's gone to D1 level. They might have gone prep or some straight out, but those are the two programs up here as far as AAU where the talent goes D1.
Where's King Fan Pong going? Brian, you know, did he decide on a place yet?
He's still my number one on my board. Still available. I know he's been working out with the World Summit team. Yeah. Working out. He's been doing some stuff with them. So he's taking a little break from recruitment. But you know, he's still available. My number one senior on the board. I can't still hang.
Yeah, you still going in and out, B. Still going in and out for some reason.
Oh, I am? Still
Yeah,
going?
Yeah.
You want me to hop out and come back in?
Yeah, do that and come right back. So much going on, man. So much going on under the sun. So again, shout out to all those guys, man, who are still looking for a school. I know it's kind of hard out there, man, but y'all just got to keep pushing the needle, man, and explain to the young guys how important it is, right? How important it is for you to put yourself in a better position even when you're young, and, you know, telling them to work on their game, It's not about how many games you play, especially, you know, going to these AAU schools and playing in 1,000 tournaments. If you're not working on your game and you just worrying about getting buckets, everybody can get buckets. What else can you bring to a team? What else? What kind of specialty can you bring to a team? What kind of skill can you bring to a team that's going to make them be intrigued enough to give you a scholarship? Remember, everybody can get buckets. What else can you do? Are you working on your body? Are your grades so high that a school will say, you know what? I'm going to bring, he seems like he's a good fit. His grades are super high. I'll put him on my team to bring up our grade point average. Whatever the case, you have to find your way to get in, and then you can make your way and work on getting on the court from there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so funny that you talk about that, Pooh. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
So I'll tell you guys both the story because it's a great point that Pooh brings up about the grades. So a couple years ago, you know, the MVP of the league and the Catholic League is kind of told you're not allowed back for your senior year, right? All this controversy happens, blah, blah, blah. He ends up going to prep school in New Jersey, right? Got great grades, has a great year, finishes, doesn't know what to do, Pooh, right? Has no idea. Should I play AU? Should I do this? Should I do that? All of a sudden, Stanford calls his coach and his AU program and says, hey, I just need a spot from a kid who can play, who's smart. And he goes, I got this kid. Was MVP, was great for us. Says, sure, send him. Don't even care. Let's just bring him. Goes to Stanford. Breaks Brevin Knight's assistant for records. Tons of assists. I mean, unbelievable point guard play. gets his degree, Pooh, in 2-3 years from Stanford. Okay. Now fast forward to this year. He's the kid who hits the shot as
I knew
CK
he was
for North Carolina State to
O'Connell.
even get to the NCAA tournament, and that's Michael. So
Say,
that's
hold on. Say his name again because I think you broke up.
Mike O'Connell from Chaminade, and that's all you need.
Salute to Mike O'Connell. That's right. Long.
Take care of your grades in the classroom, like who said that opportunity never comes to Mike if he doesn't have great grades. Never.
Right.
And now he done made himself a Long Island legend because of that.
God, I mean, he got to the Final Four.
That's right. That's right. That's legendary status right there on the biggest stage in college basketball.
Right? How can you beat that? And that's all from opportunity. Now, here's the thing I'm dying to know, CK. Who are the guys next up, man? Who's the next guys that either me and Pooh don't know about, or who's? Give us some names.
Well, locally, a kid, I don't know if he's gotten any offers. I haven't heard anything, but we have a kid by the name of Andre Pasha from Syracuse Academy of Science, 6'9" big man. Has range from 3, but can post up. He put up some big numbers. There was one game against Rome Free Academy. He had like 41 points, like 17 rebounds, like 10 assists or blocks. It was nuts. So he's a guy, I think he could be a steal for coaches if they need a big man that can play inside, outside. He's a senior, so I don't know. I haven't heard anything about where he might be going or what options he's going to go with.
Yeah.
Another guy, I think, Bishop Timon had a point guard, Jacob Humphrey. I'm not sure where he's going. Little guy. Put up 33 points in that championship game, actually. He was their leading scorer, actually. And at times, he would actually carry the scoring load. So think about that. You have the all-time leading scorer in Western New York on your team, and then you got a point guard that distributes and can get buckets to the point where he could take over the scoring. He's a guy, I think, that a lot of teams that could help teams if they can get him. And also another teammate of theirs is Ty Harris, who happens to be the son of Paul Harris, former Niagara Falls High School standout and Syracuse standout. He's another one. He's a junior, by the way. So he's probably next up as far as that team goes in the Buffalo area. What's interesting about the Rochester area, they got a lot of guys in prep, like a Mason Blackwood, who's at New Hampton, who was initially at Aquinas Institute. I'm not sure about his offers, but he should definitely 6'7" guy that can do a little bit of everything, who should be getting some offers, some at least interest. There's a lot, like Corey Reeves from Greece Athena, which is where John Wallace and Anthony Lamb went. That high school is just outside of Rochester to the west. Big basketball family, 6'4" guard, bouncy, can do a little bit of everything too. I think he would help a team. It's just so much, to be honest, it's such a wide area. There's so much talent and guys under the radar. It's not even funny. Like Terrence Thompson, another kid, 6'7", double machine from Rochester's Franklin High. I think he would be a nice pickup too, as well. Post up guy, has range too. That's the thing. A lot of like 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" guys up here. Another young kid I like, and I think will be nice. He's young though. He's a sophomore this year, but he'll be a junior. Kid named Cam Blankenberg at Wayne Central, which is in the Rochester area. About 6'5", can handle the ball, good vision. He has a little bounce to his game. So there's another guy. They're just rolling up because I wrote down a bunch of names.
Yeah.
Zubair Griffin from Johnson City has a Manhattan offer already. 6'3". He's a junior. I'm not sure if because King Rice he's from the Binghamton area. So King Rice, ironically, was at the sectional championship game because we get a lot of coverage from our media.
Yeah.
And he was scouting the game, but ironically, I found out they were playing Maine Endwell, and they have a kid named Luca Ionisi, who's 6'6" guy who has some range. He's got an offer from Monmouth, which is where King Rice coaches. So there's a lot of guys that just popping up out of nowhere that you'd be surprised that the talent up here. You'd be like, who's this kid? Who's that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
What do you think did CK, who ended up taking down Bayshore in the state final?
Oh, Green Tech. See, I haven't even gotten to Green Tech. And you got Hassan Mabin, who has a writer offer. Actually, I found out. And he's, of course, the son of Tiki Mabin, who was the Troy High School standout, played at UMass and Binghamton. Jameer Graham, the big guy there, 6'6", 6'7", pretty bouncy, strong guy. They beat Nazareth. People might not remember that. They did beat Nazareth, who made it to the AAA, CHSAA final. So yeah, a lot of talent. It's amazing.
Would you say top team like that could play outside of Upstate, that Green Tech team?
For sure, I think so, because they'll play anybody. They actually played Cardinal Hayes, lost to them by 1. I actually watched some of that game, lost to them there by 1 point. So this is a team that will play other people, like out of their area. So yeah, I think they would. Niagara Falls went independent because they wanted to play different teams. They'll go outside of their area. Another school that did it that a lot of people might not know about, Utica Academy of Science, coached by Danelius King. They played a tough schedule. So there's schools up here that will challenge themselves, that will play, teams down. Rome Free Academy played Monsignor Scanlon, lost to them by about 20 something, but they would play them, and they're a young team. Got a few guys, 3-guard tandem, DeAndre Neal, Isaiah Grimes, and Sarafia Norris. They're all coming back, and this was a team that I think that they'll play anywhere, play like Albany Academy, who plays anybody themselves. So you have a lot of these bigger schools that I think would give a good game to like teams like, and say, downstate or outside of the state as well.
Why do you think, Coach B, like, why do you think a lot of the PSL kids have trouble garnering attention from schools? Because when I look at the uncommitted list, it's way more public school kids, and it's it's a lot of Catholic school kids that don't have offers as well. So I don't want to make it seem like it's just the PSL kids, but it's a lot more of the top tier PSL kids who are not getting looks.
I think it's a combination of things, and I think CK could even elaborate on it too. It's a lot to do with the relationships, and I think it's a lot to do with the exposure. I mean, Pooh, you're the expert on the PSAL. A lot of these divisions aren't very competitive. I mean, there might be 1, 2, and possibly a third good team, but you're not playing a ton of good games, and these college coaches aren't going to go to games where you're winning by 100 points. It's really hard to judge if your kid can kind of make the jump, and that's what I think kind of happens. That's why I think these workouts for these kids are so important. You get to see them kind of in the all-star element with an even more select group, and more exposure. But that's my main 2 things, Pooh. I would say exposure and just relationships of coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I say the same thing as well. But again, when we talk about the individual and what I think what kids focus on, I think a lot of kids focus on, just the scoring aspect of it, right? So you look at a kid, you say to yourself, wow, he can score, right? But his body looks like he's still in junior high school, right? And he got so grades, right? So there's a lot of negatives that are attached to them in that aspect, right? Then you get a kid who probably got like top-notch grades, right? You got a kid like, Tyler Edor, right? Big kid, 6'6", strong, can shoot it from the outside, no offers still.
Well, he's got some options, but like you said, Pooh, like should have way more. Like, at least should have double-digit offers. I mean, 7.5 with a 4.0 GPA, and led a team in scoring in the PSAL and double machine. Totally being under recruited. Like,
if again, and this is my problem, right here, right? We're looking for greener pastures when you got people that already want you. So when I see that and you're not even trying to even attach yourself to a school, I go, you don't have any offers.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you can have. We looking down at these schools that's saying, they're not on my level. I want to wait for something better. Something better may not even come along.
True.
And
the
then
reality of it, like, let's just get down to the reality of just sports, period, high school sports. No one is looking for these guys. If you're not in the 150, 200 range, and if you're not even in that bracket, it's a million other kids. A million kids, 1.5 million, whatever the number is.
And they go down the list, Pooh, right? You say no, Bailey Dickinson, they go, okay, next on the list. They don't say, all right, we'll wait to see him to come back, and hopefully he'll come back to us, and maybe offer. That's just not how it works. That's why I don't blame these kids. Hop on the offers when you get them.
Right.
Because there's so many good kids in New York. There's so many kids that could play at the next level. But you know what it takes, Pooh. Are these kids all in? Do they know how to practice? Do they know how to work out? Do they know the sacrifice it's going to take to play college basketball? I mean, it's a lot, right, Pooh? I mean, it's a complete sacrifice. You're working out, you're training, it's a full-time job pretty much.
Man, listen, I want to check this out real quick because this guy hits it right on the head. Hope we can see it, this guy, and he's going to break down some things real quick. Check this out.
So if I'm a high school basketball player, let's just say I'm all region player, second team all state. Let's say I'm averaging 14, 15, 16 points a game, right? Let's just say I have mostly D2 interest and I have, some low major interest. You kind of think that they want to offer you, but it looks like they don't want to pull the trigger yet. You're kind of in that limbo, right? You feel like you're a D1 talent, but all you really have are D2 offers. And you're kind of upset. You're not understanding what's happening. Why can't I get that D1 offer? You got to think about it like this, right? College basketball is a business. These coaches, they have to take care of their families. If they don't win enough games, they get fired. And then they got to figure out a way. Then they got to go figure out how to feed their families, right? So what am I going to do as a college coach? If I need wins right now, if I need wins in this next year, am I going to go to high school, go get this, first team all region, second team all state, 15, 16 points per game score. Let's just say I'm a low major D1. Am I going to go get him? Like I said, 15, 16, or am I going to go look to D2? And am I going to go get a 17, 18 points per game score in D2? Or am I going to go look at a mid-major D1 at a player who let's just say he averaged 2 or 3 points a game? Am I going to go for this D2 player that's averaging 17, or even a mid-major player that averaged 2 or 3? Most of the time, they're going for those other two players. Here's why. So when you first get to college, I've talked about it in a whole lot of my videos, that transition just from high school to college. It's a process, right? There aren't a lot of basketball players that can go directly from high school to college and be effective right away and be able to transition smoothly, to not have, oh, I want to go home, or I want to see my parents. Oh, this is too hard. Oh, this and that. I can't get used to this schedule, because there is a little bit of a learning period when you first get to college. You got to get adjusted to it. Like for me, talked about it before. After my first couple workouts, I could barely walk. So I'm thinking, okay, I don't know how I'm supposed to keep practicing. I can't walk with all these weights, with all this and that. Not to mention, I'm far away from home. I'm missing my family. And just, you don't really understand how it works. You don't understand how to not be the main player. You know what I'm saying? Not to be the star player. You don't understand that. You don't understand how to play a role, right? Play a role on the team. You used to being the star.
Listen, that is the majority of it, right? Salute to Brian Thomas the second for giving that insight. But to briefly just cover what he's saying is it's a whole process, right? So you're looking at schools that you may not even think about going to. Whereas if you go to these smaller schools, D2 schools or D3, whoever's offering you, and you kill on that level, those other coaches gonna they're gonna come looking for you. Because you've shown and you've proven that you have got through the process. Remember, he just said a kid who was probably all region, average 15, 16 points a game, maybe 1,000-point scorer. They'll pick a kid in the transfer portal who's averaging like 2 or 3 compared to you.
Yeah.
Because they know what he's gonna bring a specialty. He's gonna look at his 3-point percentage, right? He done proved down the college level under college defense, right? Maybe a defensive specialist. Maybe he's a great role player. But everybody's coming in the same kind of player. Like New York City is the city of guards. We have 1,000 guards. Not even counting Long Island and Upstate.
Right.
So it's a lot that these kids are up against. And I think, not to even, harp in the situation, but I definitely wanted to bring this home real quick, that these kids really got to understand who they're playing with and try to get with the right AAU teams. A lot of us go for the big name brands or who they think can get them into a situation, but they wind up getting overlooked and not even looked at in general. Yeah. So, Brian, let's talk about this, right? Salute to Book Richardson. He's got a new head coaching position at a prep school. It's not in New York, but hey, he's a New York guy, and he's going to do some good things for our kids. So it may hurt a lot of New York City schools, but he would try to definitely put them in a better situation than what they're in now. So what have you been hearing on that front, Brian?
Yeah, definitely want to shout out Book. One of the most supportive guys, at least in my journey through basketball so far. Always welcome me in the Gauchos gym. Always willing to talk to me about players. Always comes over and says what's up, no matter what's going on. So definitely want to shout out Book. But yeah, I'm hearing that he's going to build some huge basketball academy in Ohio, and I'm hearing for everybody in that area, my man. He wants to take on a huge schedule, wants to take on everybody. I'm not sure what league he's going to be in. And like Pooh said, there's definitely some rumors attached to some big names. PSAL,
Catholic School League.
Catholic School League.
Wow.
There could even be some Long Island kids going. We'll see. I mean, CK might even get called over there, but everybody. So shout out Book. He's going to build something special there real quick.
Yeah, I heard the rumor mill is he may be snatching up B stores. He may be snatching up. Sorry if I let it out the bag. This is just all rumors. This is all rumors. Asher Elson may be another name on that list.
Whoa.
Jakai Sanders may be another guy that's on that list. I don't know. This is I'm getting these texts to my phones, man. I just want to know how true it is. And it's some more names that may be popping off soon that just may be leaving the city for brighter pastures. So hey.
just to jump in real quick. He's going to Ohio, you said, right? Which is interesting because that's another area. A lot of kids upstate, they go to prep like Spire and Western Reserve Academy. Ironically, the number one player in Ohio, Demarius Owens, is another former Rochester Aquinas Institute player who transferred out there. And Adrian Autry's son, Trey, who's now at George Washington, he initially was at Jamesville DeWitt, just outside of Syracuse. He was at Western Reserve Academy. And So it's interesting that he's going out to Ohio to start a new program out there. So a lot of kids seem to be going to prep schools out that way from New York too. So that's interesting. So I'm wondering if that's going to be like the new spot that a lot of kids get on now, not just the New England prep schools, but now going out to those Ohio schools now, which is kind of interesting.
And now listen, I was contacted by my guy, Nate Myers, who's a New York City guy. He's got a foothold on a prep school out in Northwestern. Have you ever heard of this school right here, guys?
Oh,
Mm,
it's Florida, right?
The DME Academy,
Yeah.
St. John's Northwestern Academies in Wisconsin.
Oh,
oh,
Wisconsin.
wow.
Yeah, a lot of New York City guys went to this
Mm,
school and became very successful on the next level. And he has been in contact with me, and he's been saying, "Yo, Pooh, if you got any guys that's in like
mm,
8th, 9th grade, right?
whoa.
Early, they're
Yeah.
getting them early, right? We'll take care of them. School costs $40,000 a year. Now this is the kind of information that's coming across my plate,
Yeah.
right? Guys
Wow.
hitting me up, tapping in, and seeing what's available, because of a lot of things that was going on in New York City, and they tapped into the show. They said, man, if the kids can't stay eligible there, man, like we'll find them a home here.
Yeah.
They
Right.
have campuses there. They'll be well taken care of. Basketball academy, make sure their grades are straight. Now, we're not trying to poach out of New York. We're not trying to make this to, come snatch our kids and leave us empty here. But this is the kind of stuff that's going on. Right?
Yeah.
And I think now in no other time in New York City history, we in dire needs to get our kids in school by any means necessary.
Yes.
Yeah. And listen, people got to up the game, right? If prep schools are make it better, high schools got to make it better on their end. But I got a question for both of you guys.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask Pooh first, and then I'll ask CK. Pooh, what's your thoughts on the overtime elite league and that whole situation? Do you think it's a good thing? You like it? What are you not expert in it? Just your outside opinion as a guy, connected to a lot of New York City kids, and because it's becoming a big draw. So I'm dying to hear your thoughts on that league.
Well, again, I think it's a great opportunity for kids if they could go and get paid early, right? But you got to be one of those guys. It's not for everyone. Last year we had Ian Jackson, Elijah Moore, and that whole crew from OSL playing it with the Jelly Fam. They was able to get a lot of exposure for their other guys. But, a lot of those guys go into those situations knowing where they're going to go afterwards, right? So
Yeah.
I think if you put anyone, and you got to be, it's not for everyone. So it's only for the elite kids, right? But I think, again, anytime when you want to give a kid another opportunity to kind of take care of himself and put himself in a better situation, I think it's cool. I'm not an expert on the whole league. I watched a few games, but again, it gives kids incredible exposure and put them against some of the best talent in the country.
What do you think, CK?
I agree. I think if you are at that level,
Think you okay?
why not?
Yeah, there you
Because
go.
think about it.
You're
Think
freezing.
about it,
You're freezing
because
up.
what
You're
happens
freezing up,
in Europe,
CK. Hold up,
these
CK. You're freezing up.
oh,
There you go.
uh,
There you go. There you go.
better?
You good. You good. Yep.
Okay. That's the stuff. What I was gonna say is, it's kind of reminiscent of what happens in Europe. A lot of these kids that are of a higher level, they play pro
Come closer to
in their
your camera, CK,
teens.
because you come closer to your
So
camera.
it's kind of, hello,
Yeah, come close to your camera because you're moving in slow motion right now.
hello.
Yeah.
You might have to hop back out.
Yeah. I'm gonna kick you out. Come back in.
Yeah, come back in, CK. But yeah, the reason I brought it up, who is, I was just talking to some people and some people in the know, and a lot of the kind of unsuccess that happened in the G League with that kind of Ignite team, with those young kids on it, with some of the older guys, it's now folded. I think that Overtime Elite is going to take a bunch of those kids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But after that, Pooh, that they're going to make some run at some big New Yorkers to potentially swing in that league. Now, I know they're confident with Jelly Fam, having some kids come back like Jordan Skyers and your guy Herman and some of the other really good kids coming up that they're excited about. But I would not be surprised if there was another New York team. And I would not be surprised if they are taking some of New York stars and some of 2025 stars as well. So be on the lookout for some, nationwide guys to potentially join the league too in the area. So,
Wow. That's some breaking news right there.
yeah, I think OT is going to reload in a big way, and I definitely think they're going to take a nice hard look at some New York kids. I mean, Captain Jack and those guys were so successful in the past season. I mean, those guys became stars. Jelly Fan blew up. So I wouldn't be surprised there could be another team. And Pooh, some other academies popping up in New York and Upstate and Long Island. I mean, people are trying to make these new schools and new leagues, and stuff's coming, man. So expect the portal to be very, very active this offseason in high school.
Yeah, yeah. I heard Josh Powell may be gone from Malloy.
Oof,
I
great.
can't say where he's going. I heard. I already got the inside on it, inside track.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
I'll let you know when. I'll let you know after. I'll text you and let you know for sure.
I love another name.
Hello?
I know your name, and I'll throw it out there. I won't hold back. I have heard some rumblings about one of our favorite point guards, Rich Jackson, be on the move. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, CK, let's get your thoughts on OT before we wrap this up.
BK, so
Oh yes, I was just gonna say, it's just pretty much the same concept. I think as like the Europe. Hello?
Yeah, you're going in and out. You're still going in and out.
Hello?
we kind of hear you, CK, but you're going in and out. Ah, poor CK. That's
Yeah,
Sarah,
let me,
the Rochester connection.
Yeah, that's it's a lot going on up there. But I think I know what he's wanting to say, far as
The European model.
the European model, right? Because that's where the game is going right now. And I think when we talk about the DME and the overtime elites and all these other schools, they're doing what a lot of overseas academies are doing.
Yeah, maybe I'm like that.
Yeah.
Kind of, and it's kind of exactly what Tiny Morton talked about. Maybe,
Yeah.
program that was all about athletics. That's what most prep programs are, taking the athletics a little serious.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the next level. I'm so looking forward to what the summer is going to bring. We having our first opening, the Breville Basketball League, June 3rd. So that should be a huge night. We got a lot of schools participating, a lot of AAU programs participating. So we kicking off on June 3rd. We getting things in motion right now. So
I love what. That's another thing that more programs.
you too, Brian. You going in and out. You going in and out. Yes.
Oh no.
No, you good now. You good now.
But I really appreciate that group.
Move back some, B. Move back some. There you go. Go ahead.
I'm saying I
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, you both are going in and out right now.
Oh no.
There you go. When you back up for some reason, I can hear you.
I don't know.
No.
All right, I'll come right back.
All right.
Be right back.
Yeah. We're having some technical difficulties, but we're about to wrap up in like another 5 minutes. But this is very important that we just understand the reality. This is the new reality of basketball right now. And I started noticing this maybe 2 years ago at the Nate Blue uh, uncommitment games where you saw a lot of the kids who were like the top tier kids who were like MVP of the city championship game, playing for scholarships, and that amazed me. And once I saw that, I said, man, it's going to be hard for the next couple of years for kids coming up. And I think that's when the transfer portal had just kicked in. Yeah. So, CK, say what's up.
What's up? Can you
All
hear
right,
me?
you good. Yes, you good. Brian?
I'm good. I hear you.
All right, so let's we're gonna make this the last session before we get up out of here, man. Now, where do we go from here? Right? We done talked about the transfer portal, we done talked about kids not getting good looks. What can we do to help get these kids or garner them more attention? I know we're doing our part already, but how creative do we have to get to make sure that these kids are getting in the best position possible, along with themselves and what they have to do? Brian, you go first, and then CK.
Yeah, I think. Um,
Can't hear you, B.
can't hear me still? No.
Yeah, you got move. Maybe you got to move in closer. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry.
That's good.
Um, yeah. I think part.
Yeah, you still going in and out.
All
You
right.
still going in and out.
Uh,
CK. Hello.
Yes.
All right. What do you think we could do before we bring Brian back and we get out of here?
I say, I think, like I mentioned before, we need, I think, more teams, I think, between the state to play each other. I think top tier teams, not just in like state finals or Catholic championships, but I think when recognize teams with talented players, have them match up during the season. I think that would help attract more coaches to see more talent, because then now they see them playing against high level talent during their season instead of just waiting till championships to play teams. So that's why I think like having more tournaments within the state, like during the season, would be great. Some PSAL against, like, say, a 3A team from Syracuse area or something, like a Liverpool that's been very good, or Green Tech. That, I think some of that could help too as far as exposure. Then you could see teams with like some high level Division 1 interest, at least talent, playing each other and see how they match up on between each other within the state. I think that would be one good idea, I believe.
Coach B.
yeah, I love that. More tournaments would be fantastic. And that's CK. That's what me and Pooh are definitely trying to work on. And it's so awesome that you brought up the point that like some of the teams upstate will travel. That's so great to hear. Um, And I'd like to just piggyback off what you said. Maybe add a couple non-league games. Maybe add a couple preseason tournaments that you could maybe enter if you want, depending on your skill level. And as much as we've talked about realignment, I think the non-league schedule could really open up your exposure. I think it takes you from one level to the next, especially if you're taking it serious, Pooh. A lot of these guys just stack wins The smart programs are playing good teams. I mean, just the fact that we heard some of those successful upstate teams play teams in the city. I mean, I really didn't even know that. And for those teams to travel and get that done, it definitely helps them make those big state runs, because I hate that it's just like if your team makes the playoffs, like CK said, because they're missing out on so many great kids and so many great schools because, only a select few go up there. So I'm totally in agreement with CK. All about the preseason, all about those tournaments.
Mhm.
Well, that's good, man. I'm glad we was able to get CK on, man. Let's do this a little bit more. We got at least 2 more episodes before we wrap up the high school season. I want to make sure we get to 25, a nice good number, 25 good episodes, and wrap up season 1. But I'm glad that you guys were able to come on, and as usual, Brian, another great show. CK, man, we definitely appreciate you
No problem.
for coming on, man. Let's stay connected. I got your number,
Yes.
and let's really put our heads together and work to try to make the connections with the Long Island, New York City, and Upstate teams, and
Right.
put together a high school basketball weekly tournament, and make sure that happens at least preseason and during the season.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
Thank
right?
you, CK. Appreciate you, my man.
Anytime, you guys. Anytime.
No doubt.
You did great, man.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Awesome job. He was nervous. He was nervous as hell. He was
Killed
nervous
it,
as
man.
hell.
Killed it.
That's right. All right,
All right.
fellas, man. Thanks a lot, man. Great episode. B, I'll speak to you soon. CK, holla at you, brother.
All right. No problem.
No doubt.
Peace, guys.
All right. Take
Peace.
care.